Welcome back to GSMC's Down by Contact Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is Wednesday, March 12th, if you were just tuning in. We just finished going over where some of the top free agents in the NFL might end up. In this segment, we turn our attention to the NBA. It is Wednesday, which means NBA Power Rankings once again. We'll go over all 30 teams, where they find themselves in this week's rankings, with a shakeup at the bottom, a shakeup at the top as well. But before we do, remember, if you would like to be an even bigger part of the show than you already are, all you need to do is go to gsmcpodcast.net. Or if you're on YouTube, you can use that super chat feature. If you do either of those two things, a message should pop up on the bottom of the screen for you, me, and everybody else around the world to see. If you do have a burning question about sports, anything at all that you would like to ask, go ahead and throw that in the comments. Throw it in the chat. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. I appreciate everybody so much for sticking around, talking some sports with me here on a beautiful Wednesday, March 12th. But like I was saying, we are going to get into the NBA Power Rankings here, and we're going to start off the day here at number 30, where a new team find themselves down there for the first time in almost 2 months. The Utah Jazz have taken over the crown as the worst team in the NBA. They are the only team right now without a chance to make the NBA postseason. They are the first team eliminated. Congratulations to the Utah Jazz. They still don't quite have the best odds in the NBA lottery, but the Wizards are catching up to them, and they have officially fallen below them in our NBA Power Rankings. At number 29, not too much of a climb for those Wizards. They're up to number 29 here. Only one spot up for them, but still a massive improvement. Ever since the trade deadline when they got that veteran presence of Chris Middleton and Marcus Smart, this is a team that's defense has gotten a lot better, allowing them to play in closer games, win a few more than we were expecting them to. The one bad thing about that, despite all the positive outcomes for this young roster, a team that could explode in talent if they just get the right amount of development from their guys. Alex Sarr's been playing a lot better. Keontae George has been shooting a lot better from three. This is a team that, has a lot to look forward to. It's just not there. And they're playing their way out of that number 1 overall pick right now, which could hurt them in the future. At number 28, the Charlotte Hornets stay above the Washington Wizards here. They've just been bad. There's not a lot of good to say about this Charlotte Hornets team, but the Charlotte Hornets continue to be just injured and not working out the way that we expected them to. This is a team that had play-in potential if everyone stayed healthy, but unfortunately injuries have just ravaged their season a little bit too much. The Raptors at 27 here continue to stay near the top of the bottom feeders just because they have a lot of talent. Bringing in a guy like Brandon Ingram has done pretty good for them. But this is still a team that's not going to make a deep run in the postseason by any stretch of the imagination. This is a Raptors squad that has a lot of young guys, kind of like the Wizards. They're a little further on in their development. Last year, they make a play-in spot. I think they can get back there pretty easily next season. The Philadelphia 76ers find themselves at number 26 on our NBA Power Rankings here. This is a team that, again, a lot of these teams at the bottom you can blame injuries on. Injuries once again have derailed this Philadelphia 76ers teams. You had a young talent developing in Jared McCain. He is done for the season. He's been done for a while. Paul George continues to be in and out of the lineup and not playing his best ball. Tyrese Maxey's been playing injured. Joel Embiid shut down for the season yet again. This is a Philadelphia 76ers squad that had Eastern Conference champion on their mind at the beginning of the year when they brought in Paul George, but instead they're looking to be in the top of the lottery. So it hasn't really worked out the way that they expected to. The Brooklyn Nets here at number 25. The Brooklyn Nets continue to be just a little bit too good for what they're trying to be. They've got a flamethrower in Cam Thomas. Cam Jordan can shoot the lights out of the ball. This is a team that's refusing to get rid of those guys for good reason. Those are guys that you want to build around, but it's also making it hard for them to tank. They're still doing a good enough job where they're going to get a top pick, most likely one of the lottery picks, but they need to start losing a couple more games if they want to stay down there. They almost took care of the Cleveland Cavaliers last night. That would have been crazy. At number 24, the New Orleans Pelicans sit here. They've been climbing a bit. They still can't shoot the ball. They've lost 4 straight games, so maybe I've put them a little too high, but I love what this team has shown me since Zion's been back. Zion Williamson has been playing excellent basketball. He put up another triple-double the other night against the Clippers. He's playing great basketball, and I think we need to give the Pelicans a little bit of their flowers. Injuries, yet again, have ravaged this team, but I think with Zion back, they can make a little bit of late season noise like they did last week. At 23, I've got the San Antonio Spurs. The San Antonio Spurs just kind of been an afterthought ever since Victor Wembanyama went down. De'Aaron Fox, playing fine basketball. You still need that seemingly number one star next to him for that team to be, what they truly want to be. They're still making a push for potentially that 10 seed after everything that's going on with the Dallas Mavericks, but this season is pretty much dead. The wind is out of their sails. At 22, we have the Portland Trail Blazers. They fall a spot from last week just because a couple teams have been playing great ball. They've lost a couple in a row. But since the trade deadline, they're tied with the Denver Nuggets. 15-6 since the trade deadline. They are a team that is hot and on the hunt for that play-in spot, and I think they've got a real chance to go out and get it. The Portland Trail Blazers at 22 probably, I think, steal that last spot in the West. At number 21, we have the Chicago Bulls. You talk about a team that's getting hot right now. How about the Bulls? Josh Giddey playing amazing basketball. I didn't think this team was going to amount to much this season, but they've surprised me. They continue to climb. They're playing the best ball of the season right now, and maybe they can find a way in to make some noise as we get further on into the playoffs. Just about 20 games to go for every single one of these teams. The Miami Heat at number 20. They've been consistently the Heat, right? They're going to play in the play-in tournaments. They're just not anything special right now. They're waiting on their guys to really turn it up. There's a real chance for them to make, I don't know how much noise, but I think they could give some teams trouble if they get that hot shooting that they're known for in the playoffs. I just don't think this Miami Heat team has the same juice as it has in years past. They're still here at number 20. At 19, it's the Dallas Mavericks, a team that is holding on to dear life for that final spot in that play-in tournament at that number 10 seed in the West. They are scratching and clawing their way to not fall to their graves, right? This is a team that everything that could possibly go wrong has gone wrong. Kyrie Irving, out. Luka Doncic, traded. Fans, disappearing. You've lost over $1 billion in your estimation for this team, which is wild. It's almost impossible for a team to lose value. The Mavericks have found a way to do it. They're here at 19, and they're on the middle of a basically free fall to the bottom of the league right now. At number 18, we have the Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic here, injuries derailed their season a little bit. They could still find their way into the playoffs and make a little bit of noise maybe if they can get healthy then, but injuries continue to hit them at the wrong time. Whenever they think they're getting a little more healthy, more injuries hit them, and it just hasn't been the kind of season that they or I expected out of them. The Atlanta Hawks at number 17 here, getting near the top half of the league. They've played good basketball recently. I think the additions that they made at the trade deadline, despite me flaming them, has worked out pretty well. I was out there calling them losers of the deadline. I wasn't sure what they were doing, but some of the moves they've made have worked out pretty solidly, and I think the Hawks going out there still kind of the same as they were the last couple seasons, a play-in team that could be a little dangerous, but not too much new out of them. The Phoenix Suns hit that number 16 mark to finish off the first half of the NBA Power Rankings. The Phoenix Suns, with Bradley Beal sitting out half of their last 15 games, have started to play a little bit better, right? You have Kevin Durant still playing at a really good level. This is a team that, again, is fighting for that number 10 seed in the West. They're a team with the Portland Trail Blazers. One of those teams probably going to get it. They've got that star power to try and push them through it, but there's just not enough on this team for me to believe that this team is, even if they make it to that 10 seed, going to make it out of that 9-10 game. Getting into the top half of the league now, we have the Sacramento Kings. This is a team led by now your new star, Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine has played amazing basketball ever since he's got shipped up to Sacramento, and this is a team that's staying afloat in the Western Conference, potentially could get out of that play-in area if they continue to play this well. I don't think they're going to quite get there, but this is a team that could be scrappy. Maybe if they get to that 6 seed, could cause some trouble for the 3 seed in the West. At 14, the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers have been, really good with James Harden. Kawhi Leonard's playing some good basketball again. They're still winning games. They're waiting on Powell to come back. Bogdanovich has stepped up. In the meantime, they're still shooting the lights out of the ball. James Harden, I really underestimated what he could be this season. I thought the Clippers would be bottom feeders this season. Instead, they've come out, played amazing basketball, and they're going to find their way into the playoffs probably as that 6th seed. The Minnesota Timberwolves at number 13. The Minnesota Timberwolves are finally getting healthy. We talked a lot about injuries at the bottom half of this power rankings, but it affects the top half as well. Anthony Edwards has powered them through it to the best of his abilities, but you get Julius Randle back. They have won the last 10 games with Julius Randle in the lineup, including 5 games in a row right now. This is a Minnesota Timberwolves team that is on fire, and this is a Minnesota Timberwolves team that you don't want to face if they're hot at the right time. The Pistons fall 2 spots to number 12. They're out of the top 10. It's nothing against them. I just think a couple teams have started to play better. They're basically in a dead tie. If I could do 10-10-10 for the Bucks, Pacers, and Pistons, that's what I would do. That 4, 5, 6 spot in the East is going to be a bloodbath. We saw the Pacers take care of business against the Bucks last night with a crazy 4-point play by Tyrese Halliburton. But the Pistons still tied with them, all 3 of those teams in a deadlock down the stretch. Those 2 are the next teams on our list. We've got 11 the Pacers and 10 the Bucks. I know the Pacers just beat them, but I think the Bucks are playing a little bit of better basketball right now. That is a crazy shot for them to win it. And I think at the end of the day, the Bucks are still the better team, but in my mind, those 3 teams are all tied for 10th in the NBA as it stands. The Pistons, the Pacers, and the Bucks right there. The Rockets sit at number 9. They continue to slip a little bit, but they're still going to hold on near the top of that Western Conference. Maybe they might fall to the number 5 seed, but they should stay out of the play-in. Be nice to see them get some home court advantage, but really the most important thing for them is to show up in the playoffs. If they can show up with this young squad in the playoffs, they know that the team is right. They had that blistering hot start to the beginning of the year. They're starting to slip a little bit, but still in the top 10. At number 8, we have the Golden State Warriors. They've only lost one game since Jimmy Butler has joined the team. 10-1 over that stretch. Steph Curry has been amazing. The way that he's able to move without the ball now that he's not getting double and triple teamed. This is a team that is hot. This is a team that will be dangerous. And I think if they get the right matchup, they could take out one of these top teams in the West. At number 7, we have the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks here at number 7 are just this low because they have struggled to beat the best teams. When they play the teams that aren't in the top 3 of each conference, they dominate, right? But when they play the teams that are in the top 3 of each conference, they just can't get anything done. They lose all of these games, sometimes in heartbreaking fashion. An injury to their best player, Jalen Brunson, against the Lakers in overtime, not a good look. He should be back soon, thank goodness, but still, the Knicks need him. They need to find a way to beat these top teams if they want to make any kind of noise in the playoffs this year. Getting into the top 6, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. A little bit of a backseat has been taken this season by Ja Morant, but JJJ, gonna win Defensive Player of the Year, should be up there for MVP voting, not necessarily in candidacy to win it, because you've got a pretty good battle between the number 1 and 2 right there. But the Memphis Grizzlies have a complete team. Depth up and down the lineup. Rookies stepping up. Young guys playing great basketball. This is a dangerous Grizzlies team. They're flying under the radar a little bit because maybe they don't match up the best against some of these teams, but I do really like this Grizzlies team a lot, and they are going to be very dangerous when we get to playoff time. Getting into the top 5, we have the Los Angeles Lakers. This is a team that was red hot when everything was clicking, but then all of a sudden the injury bug bit them. LeBron James goes down. He could be out for a couple weeks. He rejoined the team tonight. Luka Doncic is dealing with some more injuries. Austin Reeves has missed a couple games. Jackson Hayes missing a couple games. Rui Hachimura has missed a couple games. That is basically their entire starting lineup missing some time. They need to get them back for the playoffs because when they're up there, they're arguably a team that can contend for the championship this year. At number 4, we have the Denver Nuggets. You talk about heavyweight battle. We had the Denver Nuggets going back-to-back against the Oklahoma City Thunder. That was a crazy game, right? It was a battle between the number 1 MVP candidate and the number 2 MVP candidate. I don't think it really changed too much. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander still going to win the MVP, but hats off to Jokic. He's playing amazing basketball, currently averaging a triple-double again. It's crazy. I just think at this point, what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has done is going to be enough, combined with voter fatigue, for Jokic to come in second in this award this year. At number 3, we have the Boston Celtics. They're starting to get healthy again. And don't look now, but when they are hot, they are impossible to stop, right? This is a team that if you catch them on the right night, they are going to not miss a shot, and they're going to put up 200 points on your head, right? They'll hit a barrage of about 60 for 80 from three-point range, and you will just sit there like, what just happened? This is a crazy talented team. This is a team that is basically the same, if not better, than last year's finals winning team, just with a little bit bad injury luck. This is a very dangerous team that no one in the East wants to play when it comes to the playoffs. But the top 2 has stayed relatively the same all season long. At number 2, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder come into this week's power rankings still near the top of the league, right? They split those games with Jokic and the Nuggets. SGA still probably, in my opinion, the MVP, but the gap is closing a little bit as we get down the stretch. This is a Thunder team that needs Chet to get back in and playing good basketball. He played a little bit, didn't look his best, but he's playing, and that's what's important. At number 1, though, it's your Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers have continued to just not lose games. Not only has their offense been amazing all season long, but now they have the second best defense in the NBA since the All-Star break. Where did that come from? That is dangerous. Not only that, but they've won 15 straight games again. 15 straight games again. They are the 6th team in NBA history to have multiple 15-plus game winning streaks. They've done it twice this season. The Thunder have done it once this season. If they win again, it'll be the longest streak of the season, but they also had a 12-game winning streak baked into this as well. This is insane what they're doing. This is a real championship contender, and what Kenny Atkinson has done with this squad is amazing. Coach of the Year stuff out of him. The Cleveland Cavaliers are once again your number 1 NBA power rank team. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Once again, top 10. We've got a tie at 10th with the Pacers, the Pistons, and the Bucks. At 9th, we've got the Rockets. 8th, the Warriors. 7th, the Knicks. 6th, the Grizzlies. 5, the Lakers. 4, the Nuggets. 3, the Celtics. 2, the Thunder. And number 1, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'd love to hear your thoughts. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we turn our attention to the MLB. Some big news coming out of there, but we're going to break down the Minnesota Twins, a team that dealt with injuries over the last couple seasons, but if they can stay healthy, how dangerous can they be? We'll answer that question coming up next here on GSMC's Down by Contact Sports Podcast.